Hey, how's it going everybody? It's me, Scott from One Last Hand, and we are about to dive into Dragon Eclipse Foray into the Shadow Realm. This is the expansion that came with a Kickstarter. Sounds like some bits of it follow on directly, whereas others don't. So we'll delve into that. We'll run through the changes here. We'll also just run through the rulebook so you know the changes. There's not that many of them. But the first thing, in fact, let's go through the rulebook first. So it first tells us to set up the campaign. Dragon Eclipse Foray into the Shadow Realm adds a new campaign to the game. The story takes place after the events of the base game campaign, taking the most weighty choices from the campaign into consideration. In this expansion, players ventures into the Shadow Realm to resolve a serious problem. Not all portals that opened during the eclipse closed, and one of them is growing in size. Finishing the base game is mandatory before you play this expansion. Then it says, before you start the scenario, please perform the following preparations. Take the following components from the base game. They'll be used during this campaign. The equipment deck, we've got that. The action cards, including all Advancement A and B cards and all booster action cards. Place these action cards behind the unlock divider. They are all available for deck construction during this campaign. The help cards, the tokens and markers, the enemy attack cards. Then it says replace the following: the secret deck, the item deck, the fatigue deck. There is a new fatigue deck, I'll show you that in a second. There's 8 cards instead of 5. The status sheets, there's a new status sheet. If you have at the beginning of the campaign, you'll need the old status sheet to switch over some things. We'll do that in a second. The adventure journal, there is a smaller new adventure journal. The location book, we've got that. The world map card holder, we've got that. Special edition Mistling encyclopedia, add the pages. Find the Mistling dividers and unpack all of the Mistlings. We've done that. There's about 6 new ones. If you have the special edition game, you don't need to follow this step because you've already got the booster packs, which we have. And that is it, I think. Take the world map, gain world map card 01. So we've got that. We'll take a look at that in a second. Okay, and then it says on the back page, playing the campaign. This campaign is played according to the standard rules found in the core rulebook of Dragon Eclipse, with a few exceptions. There will be no silver. Essence will be used in different ways than the base game. There will be no option for taming Mistlings outside of combat. You will always have one scenario, so it's going to be very sort of railroaded. There is a new fatigue card that looks like this. It's got this cute little whatever that thing is on, and it's fatigue toxin. Gain 2 damage, discard up to 2 cards, and draw that many. Remove this card from play. Toxins are an alternative version of the fatigue card used in Foray to the Shadow Realm. Most of the rules regarding the fatigue deck stay the same. Toxins are shuffled into the Mistlings deck to hinder their performance. What's different from the fatigue from the base game is that the getting rid of toxins is more difficult. When a toxin is played, its effect deals damage to the user. There is an important change in obtaining toxins during combat. Instead of placing it on top of the discard pile, place it on top of your action deck. So when we get this, we turn it over, we get it. We can then play it, which gives us 2 damage, and it also makes us discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many. I'm guessing we get to choose which cards we discard. So it's kind of getting rid of cards from your deck. Okay, so that's all of the rules, you'll be pleased to know. Next, we have the status sheets. So I'm just going to tuck these here because there's a few things we need to do. Important, it is mandatory to play the campaign. It's mandatory to play this campaign after you finish the base game due to spoilers contained. Please check the save sheet from the previous campaign to proceed. If you have ending 1 or 2, we have ending 5. If you have ending 1 or 2, gain consequence part 1. If you have ending 3 or 4, gain consequence part 2. If you have ending part 5, gain consequence part 3. Okay. If you don't have a status sheet from the base game playthrough, gain consequence part 1. Then continue reading. So you wish it was all over. Let's just see if this does this for us. Here we go. Hold on.
So you wish it was all over? don't you? So do most people. But the news from around the world is still disturbing. Not all the portals have closed, and some even remain fully open, which serves as an invitation for hordes of creatures from the Shadow Realm to raid neighboring towns and villages as well as attack local mistlings. Portal openings are constantly guarded, most of them by tamers, and some even by the dragon guardians themselves. But despite that, some creatures manage to sneak past them. It worries you. The two dimensions have been linked for too long, and some people believe that such a convergence may lead to another world-shattering disaster. Alas, there is no time for you to wait. A royal order reaches Carberg, requiring the town to inspect a portal which doesn't seem to shrink. Quite the opposite. The gap widens with every passing day, and releases more and more hostile mistlings native to the Shadow Realm. As the head tamer, you are dispatched there to investigate. Soon you arrive in the vicinity of a portal where you witness another aspect of its disturbing activity. In front of your eyes, a flock of local mistlings are practically pulled into the dark chasm where they disappear without a trace. You have to stop the disturbance, whatever is causing it.
Okay, choose Into the Shadows O on the world map. Let's just zoom in so you can see that down here. We've only got the one option, Into the Shadows. OO is where we're going. Let's just get this set up then. So we'll put our journal over here. We'll move this status sheet. We only had to mark one thing, so we can throw that away. We've got our status sheet and we've got no cards, so let's crack on.
You wish it was all...
Hold on, that was the wrong button. So I didn't think that the app had the recordings, but interesting, there's a separate section on the main menu where you get to choose the expansion. Choose Into the Shadows on the map. Here we go. O 000. Here we go.
You watch the looming black gap of the portal with apprehension, and you are not the only one to do that. Your mistling's eyes are wide open as they stare at the portal with reluctance. They also seem visibly weaker, as if the portal absorbs not only their will but also their stamina. You whisper to them, soothingly. You can't go in there alone. One of the creatures will have to gather their courage and follow you. Then you notice a single Eerie, gracefully floating on air currents. The creature seems to be nearing the portal, yet its movements become faster and more erratic as if it were trying to tear away from it. You yell to warn it, but it's too late. The mistling cannot break out of the invisible pull of the portal, and soon the Eerie disappears into the blackness. There is no denying now that the portal has changed its nature. It has become a lurking predator, leeching its unsuspecting victims. It's time to get inside and figure out what is going on there. Whatever causes the expansion of the portal is surely present on the other side. It has to be stopped.
Okay, combat. A powerful shadow mistling. Other. Having a wind, water or earth mistling might be helpful. Choose 2 mistlings from the base game and put them in the party divider. All other mistlings from the base game will not be available during this campaign. Return all the cards to the box. The 2 chosen mistlings will accompany you during the scenario. Having a diverse party may be beneficial for future scenarios of the campaign. So consider not only the mistlings of the types mentioned in the hints above, also mistlings tamed during this campaign might accompany you in future scenarios. Open 2 random booster packs and add the cards to the available pool. Perform deck construction. If you have consequence 3, gain 1 equipment, 1 item. A scouting party made of humans and fae shared their equipment with you and wished you good luck. Okay. Well, look, I guess we better do that. I don't know what mistlings we're going to take. I guess it makes sense to take the Luminesca. We've still only got a young Luminesca. and maybe a fire one, but then we don't have any of the earth, water, the wind, water, or earth. So maybe we'll see if we've got a wind. I think we've got a wind and water one, so maybe we'll take one of those. Right, I will figure that out, and I will be right back. Okay, so these are all of the mistlings that we tamed during our main campaign. We could have gone back, interestingly, and did some taming kind of after the quests had finished, but it didn't feel necessarily like the right thing to do. I think we're going to take our young Luminesca. We have now got it exalted, so it's only got 24 hit points, but I think it's been with us from the start, right? So I feel like we should take that. Now, I'm debating whether we take the Flutterspark, which is fire and wind, or Leah, my favourite of all of them, who's fire and wind, or the Emberling, who's just fire. So I think if we're going to take a fire, we'd probably take them. The only reason I'm debating it is because it says a water, wind, or earth would be useful, and we're not taking any of those if we take the Emberling. We do have the Blaze Reef, who is also a water one. Sorry, fire and water. We could take the Galomo or the Elkhorn, who are both exalted as well. But again, I don't know if they're going to be that much of a benefit. The Chrysomalian is also an earth fire. I don't think we'll take those, so we'll get rid of those two. I don't think we'll take the Blaze Reef. So it leaves us with these two. We could take the Dark Talon, which is a shadow. I don't think we'll take the Eldritha, who's both shadow and light. So I think we'll tuck you to the side. Don't think we'll take our boy the Pinequeak, who I did enjoy playing as, and we play quite a lot as. We do have the Crystale, which is a water light, but there's no quest for that one, so we'll tuck that one to the side. The Siren is water and wind, so I am quite tempted with it. Blue Mane is wind and light and dark. Don't think we'll take that. We won't take the young Aluca, because we may as well take the actual Aluca. And the Aluca is quite high on my list of ones to take, because 40 hit points is huge, and it does a load of blinking from memory. Oh, maybe not. I thought it did a load of blinking. Maybe it's just the young one. We've got the Cloudine, which is a 50 health one, but everything it does damage to itself. Gain 2 damage, 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 and the special, it's all gain 2 damage. So although we've got a load of health, it might disappear fairly quickly. So that leaves us with these 4. I can't see that we're going to take this. Win or tame the enemy before he uses its special ability. That seems unlikely since they all do their special ability on about 2. But it would be nice to go with a quest to do, right? Okay, so let's not take that. So we're down to the Aluca, which is also shadow and wind. This is water and wind. And then we've got earth and light and shadow, and then just earth. I don't think we'll take the Elkthorn. I don't think we're going to take the Galomo. So it really is between wind and shadow and water and wind. Let's take Aluca. Okay. Oh, hold on. So the choice is between these 3, right? The choice is between these 3. The Emberling, which is really strong. I really like the fire cards. The Aluca, which is pretty strong. This doesn't tell us to take a. Well, we're fighting a shadow mistling, so the light one would be pretty good. Although they completely counteract each other. Any benefits that we get, they're going to get as well. We've got some really good fire cards, but we've also got some pretty good wind cards. Do we leave the No, let's take the Luminesca. Let's take the Luminesca and leave behind the Emberling. I wouldn't mind taking the Lear, just because look at him. But I think that's it, right? And then the Dark Talon can go here as well. So we've done that. We can put these to the side. I need to build their decks. But then it says open 2 random booster packs. 1 and 2. Oops, the other one fell off the table. Okay, so let's delve into these. I'll zoom in and we'll go through these one at a time so you can see what we're getting. Okay. We have, oh, this is a nice one. Place of Power. So Earth 1, attack +3. If the opponent is in one of the petal spaces, gain 3 power, and then you get shield and block. This is a legendary card. Impulsive Strategy. Gain 1, gain 2 power. So 2 power instead of 1 for when you choose a card from the first slot. Okay. So these are just standard upgrades. Impulsive Strategy, same thing. Reckless Strike, gain 2 damage, attack +2. If you're in a petal space, add 1 shield of each type. Swiftness, deal X magical damage in range 2, where X is your movement. Okay. Passion, move, attack, gain 2 power. If you're fighting a shadow, deal 3 damage in range 1. As an upgrade, at the beginning of your turn, you may look at the top card of your deck. Okay. Shadow, Ubiquitous Darkness. Gain 2 power. Your shadow cards also count as neutral cards. Interesting. Another light, towards the light. Move, attack in range X, where X is the number of power you have. If it's against a shadow, trigger. When you gain damage that equals or exceeds your health, heal up to 1 and remove this card from the game. That's very situational. It has to be on top of your discard pile when it happens. Hidden Embers, deal 1 burn to each Mistling in any range, and then trigger. If you're fighting wind, deal 1 burn in any range, and then if it's on your discard pile, instead of spending power for your bonus action, you may gain that much damage. Okay, interesting. And the next lot. Okay, we have Burning Gate. That is a very nice card. Look at that, with a tree on fire. Deal Blink 4. Deal 4 damage in range 1. Gain 4 burn. +1 damage for each burn you have. Wow. So you're going to be really getting strong. Grace of Stone. Blink 1. Deal 2 magical damage in range 1. Gain X power, where X is the number of damage you dealt. So that can be really good for the Aluca doing 4 damage. So there. B cards, we'll tuck all of those together. Precision Strike, deal 3 magical damage in range 1. If the opponent is in one of the petal spaces, this effect has Pierce 2. Smash, choose any space with terrain and deal 6 damage to each opponent within range 1 of this space. Reduce the magic damage by the opponent's shield instead of magical shield. If there is no terrain, gain 1 power. Slot 4, trigger, that seems huge. Tormenting Mist, this is a shadow card. Oh, sorry everybody. Gain 1 power for each 2 cards in your discard. If you're fighting light, attack +1. Okay, Water. Crushing Wave, search 2. Deal 4 magical damage to an opponent in range 2 of a petal space. Pierce X, where X is your magical shield. And then we have a Wind. Strike Chain. Cleanse 1, attack Pierce 3. If you don't move this turn, trigger. Okay, and then another light card. Colours from Beyond. I feel like light is going to be important. Colour from Beyond. Deal 2 magical damage in any range in line. Deal an additional 2 magical damage for each empty space between you and the opponent. If you're fighting a shadow, gain 2 power. Wow, some pretty good cards in there. For the young Luminesca. Not so much for the wind. We only got one, which was the Chain Strike, but any card with a trigger on, I always feel is pretty good. And then we got one Earth as well. So I'm going to have to do some deck building. I suspect I'll do what I always do, which is come back with very little movement in my decks. But we'll get those built, and then we'll figure out where we go from there. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. So let's just read through what we've done. We've got our 2 Mistlings. We're taking our young Luminesca and we're taking our Aluca. We've opened the random packs. We've performed our deck construction. We are going to gain 1 equipment and 1 item. So let's just take these out and shuffle them. The equipment deck is the same one from the base game. The item deck is a completely new deck from what I recall. So here we go. Our item is a Sturdy Rope. Combat, deal slow and weak to an opponent in any range. It says RL on it. I'm not sure what RL stands for. And then we get an item. So let's. I'm just going to shuffle these this way. Just in case there's anything interesting. One thing I checked, which I didn't check all campaign, didn't even come to me during the campaign, was if you take a Mistling with a subclass, so in this case the Aluca is a wind but also darkness, do you take one of the elemental bonus actions for that subclass? And the answer is no, you don't. Okay, and we also got a silver-plated hatchet. Test, look at the top 3 cards of the item deck, set one of them aside, shove the rest back into the deck, and place the set-aside card back on the deck. Okay, they are our 2 cards for today. These can go back in here. I'll leave them out because I suspect we're going to have to do some tests. And then it says go to script 01. So I'll just turn this over and we will set the app off and running, shall we? So hold on, continue. We've done all of these things.
The moment of crossing the barrier between dimensions is somewhat unpleasant, and a few challenging steps later, you end up in a different reality. The air here is much heavier and filled with the acrid smell of sulfur. You notice almost no wind on your face, and what strikes you most, there is very little light. The sky is dark purple, with a few lighter smudges, and there is barely enough light to see the path in front of you. Yet your eyes adjust quickly, and you soon see the jagged rocks around you. Here and there you also spot tree trunks, yet bare, without a trace of canopy. Out in this barren, inhospitable landscape, you also spot the blurred shapes of buildings, tall and eerily beautiful, but partly ruined and most likely deserted. So, this is it. The Shadow Realm. Soon enough you notice the Air-In, which was pulled in a few moments before. There is still a chance you will catch up with it.
Okay. Perform a test. During each, and we'll read it from here, during the test, each eyeball immediately adds 1, and a light Mistling or a wind Mistling once per test. You may discard the card you just drew. It helps you navigate these wicked conditions. 5 or less, you cannot catch up with the Air-In. 6 or 7, following the Air-In earns you a few scratches and bruises, but you manage. That gives us gain 2 damage and go to script 02. You've caught up with the Air-In if we get an 8. 9, your Mistlings get entangled in a thorny maze of petrified branches. You help get it out, but Annan's gone. Okay, so we're going to perform our test. We'll tuck these up here. And I guess we will start doing our first test. So, if you don't know with tests, obviously I'd recommend going and watching the main campaign videos that are on the channel. But if you don't know with tests, we'll turn over one of these cards, like this one here. It has a number at the top, which is the number of we add to our test result. And it also has, some have these eyeballs on. Obviously, if we get more than one of those eyeballs, we start to get impacts. In this case, adding 1 for each eyeball. So let's start. We have a 2. So we're at 2. We really want to get to 8, but at 6 or 7 will do. We've got a 1, so we're at 3. We have another 2, so we're at 5 plus 1 eyeball, so we're at 6. So we could stop here. I obviously don't know what's in this deck. So I think I'm going to stop here and we'll take 2 damage. So we're using these as our individual damage because the damage tokens that came with the game are insanely small. Let me show you if I've got one out. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. What are you meant to do with that? It's tiny. They're impossible to like pick up and do anything with. So we're going to tuck 1 each in between our 2. It is just 2 damage, so we'll put 1 on each of our Mistlings. And that is the test done. These cards go in a discard pile, which means next time we do a test, we're going to have less to choose from. So we're going to keep doing that, and eventually we'll just have like 1 or 2 in that deck. Okay, so we gain 2 damage, go to script 02.
The Air-In, visibly tired and disorientated, carefully lands in a barren patch of land, surrounded by a few weirdly shaped rocks. Its body is shaking visibly, probably due to exhaustion. The Mistling cowers behind a petrified tree with wide-reaching branches. Abruptly, a rabbit-like Mistling leaps out from the rocks and runs towards the air inn. The time has come for you and the Mistling to react.
Okay, set up combat using the components below. Arena card 42, map 4, the enemy Skitterpaw cards, and if we're playing 2-player, Major Corruption. We'll do the first one without, but we might start adding Corruption to them if we find that they're pretty straightforward based on all of the cards we've got. But I'm assuming they've upped the difficulty based on some of the cards. Sorry, the fact that you've got all of those cards unlocked. So we'll tuck those back in there, and I'll set up some combat and we'll be right back. Okay, combat is all set up. Let's just run through our cards. So we have the Petrified Forest as the arena. Place 1 fallen tree in each of these petal spaces. So we got those. For 1 power, throw. When you are within range 1 of a fallen tree, remove the fallen tree and deal slow or weak within range 2. So if we were standing here, we could throw it at the thing and do damage to it. The Skitterpaw has 34 health, 3 attack, 3 move, no shields. Passive. When Skitterpaw is attacked or dealt magical damage, each opponent within range 2 takes 2 damage. It's got a deck of 1 square, 2 squares, 2 triangles and 1 circle. On a circle, rush. Attack +2, so it's going to do 5 damage. Retreat -1. If fighting a light opponent, deal silence in any range. On a square, cleanse all, deal slow and 2 magical damage in any range, and deal 2 magic damage if it's fighting a light. And then rush. Triangle, rush, attack +2, so again 5 damage, and trigger, which means it can play the next card. On its special ability, which triggers on a 3, it's rush, attack +3, attack +3, so it's going to do 12 damage. If this effect deals any damage, gain 8 damage, otherwise heal 2. This is the Skitterpaw, just so you know. This is who we're up against. There he is, cute little bunny rabbit, standing on some kind of tree or pillar or something. And we are the Aluca, 40 health, 4 damage, 1 movement, so we're well and truly outclassed in the move department. Our special ability is 3 power, steal breath, deal silence in range 3. Just means they won't trigger their special ability on that turn. And then Elemental Air is 5, accelerate. Look at the top card of your deck. You may resolve it or place it back on top of your deck. And this is us, the muscular bird that is the Aluca. There you go. Let me just show you those cards just so you can see them. Sorry, I forgot I wasn't showing you. So 40 health, 4 damage, 1 movement, and then steal, freed power, steal, silence in range 3. Deal silence in range 3, and then 5 accelerate. Look at the top card of your deck, so it's basically a trigger, which is really good. I'm just going to have a quick drink. Okay, right, so it is doing first a square, which is cleanse, deal slow and 2 damage in any range, and we don't need to worry about it fighting a light. And we are Grace of Stone, Gale Force Strike, Sprouting Darkness, and Intimidation. So the good news is because we're the Aluca, we get to take some darkness cards with us as well. That's what we've got here. But who knows how this is going to go. Let's just read through our cards. We always go first. We always start in the 2 space. They always start in the 1 space. Grace of Stone. Blink 1, so that just means we can move. Deal 2 damage in range 1. Gain X power, where X is the number of damage dealt. So we would blink here, we'd attack it for 4, and then we'd get 4 power. That's huge. But when we hit it, we would also take 2 damage back. Gale Force. Blink X where X is this card slot, so we could blink 3. You may spend 2 power to attack with Pierce 1 if we're fighting Earth. We're not, so I won't read that. Deal 3 damage in range 3 if you have less than 10 cards in your discard card pile. Trigger. Could be really strong, especially if we got out of his range. Intimidation. Slot 3, gain 2 power. Deal slow and weak. And on our, if we have it in our discard pile at the top, we get +2 move and +2 damage. Now it's going to slow us next time, so I wonder if we just want to be standing next to it so we can wail on it, or if we want to be standing one step backwards, so Sprouting Darkness triggers. We can't get there, to be honest. Grace of Stone is pretty good. Blink 1, gain 2 power in range 1, gain X for where X is the number of damage dealt. That would be 3 + 4. We could then trigger the top card of our deck. That might not be the worst shout. Let's use Grace of Stone, so we can take 3 of these. We are then going to blink 1. Boop. We are going to deal 2 damage in range 1. He doesn't have any shield, so we do 2 damage to him. We've got 1 damage carried over from us getting through the portal, or doing that test. Gain X power, where X is the number of damage dealt. So hold on, we did 4 damage. 1, 2. So we're going to gain another 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, our special ability is we could do silence. I don't think we need to worry about that now. We could accelerate, so I can spend 5 of these, and I think I'm going to. And we will use the top card. So the way it's worded is, look at the top card of your deck. You may resolve it or place it back on top of your deck. So it is Smash. Smash. Choose any space with terrain. Any space next to terrain. Deal 6 damage to each opponent within range 1. Reduce this by their shield. If there is no terrain, gain 1 power. Well, that's disappointing. That's really disappointing. That doesn't help me in the slightest. I'm going to put it back on top of the deck. Then we're going to move these 2 up. So I wasted all of that power. It was a gamble. I mean, it is always a gamble, but that's it. We did damage to him, so we take 2 damage back because of his passive. I didn't tell you about the taming ones. Tire it out. Place 1 token on this card each time the Skitterpaw attacks and deals no damage. Have 3 tokens on this card. The next one is Show No Fear. Place 1 token on this card each time you gain damage from the Skitterpaw's passive. Have 3, but I can't do that until I've done the top one. And Withstand. Skitterpaw uses its special ability and deals at least 1 damage. You must not lose. You must not lose to fulfill this condition. We're in serious trouble. Right, it's its go. It's doing a square. Square is Cleanse All, deal slow. So we'll take slow. We're in trouble because we don't really have much to hit him with next time. Deal slow and deal 2 damage in any range. So we take another 2. We're up to 5 already. Okay. That's his turn. Next up he's doing a triangle, which is rush, attack +2, and then trigger. We're not getting away from him. So I can move 4. 1. No, I've only got a blink, and pierce. I'm just going to use that. So interestingly, if you new round here, Awaken Realms released an app that has AI in. Shock Horror Awaken Realms using AI. If I have a blink card, does it still mean I can only move 1 if I have silence? So the app should tell us an answer to that rather than us having to go and look up these, because we've got blink X where X is this card slot, so I could blink 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I won't get hit by his attack, but then he's going to trigger, so whatever's under there is going to hit us again. Let's just see what this says. No, the silence condition does not affect the blink status. Okay, is that what we want to do? Is that what we want to do? I think so. We're going to use blink. We're going to blink where X is this card slot. So we're getting 3 power. 1, 2, 3. I've learnt my lesson about turning that card over. We're going to blink 1, 2, 3, I think, over here. We'll keep our thing with us. I could, if I could spend 2 to attack and pierce 1. But obviously we're not in melee range, so that's pointless. So we can move this up, move this up, move this up. Now the real question is, no, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I'm going to turn this over. We're about to get absolutely pummeled, I think. But that's us done. Here's go. He's going to trigger. Sorry, he's going to triangle. Rush. 1, 2, 3. Attack. +2. We'd trigger. So he's attacking +2. He attacks us and misses us. So we get one of these tokens on this card. Then he's going to trigger, which is the square action. Square, this is insane. Square, cleanse all damage, deal slow. So we'll put slow back on us. Deal slow. So this is square, deal slow, and deal 2 damage in any range. So we take another 2 damage. And then he's going to trigger his special ability, because he's got to 3 of these. So he's going to trigger his special ability, which is attack, rush, and then attack +3. So he's hitting us for 6, and then attack +3 again. So he's hitting us for 12. Holy crap. And then gain 8 damage himself. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is mental. Is that right? So he was already on some. Oh no, I've got this wrong. He's on 17? Is that right? That can't be right. We didn't do that much damage to him. I'm just going to have to quickly go back and check how much damage he was on before. Somehow I messed it up. Bear with me. Okay, he was on 4, and he gave himself 8 damage, right? Is that correct? So he was on 4, he gave himself 8 damage. That puts him up to 12, right? I knew what I was doing. Okay, we're on 19. We're almost half our hit points, and he's just going to keep hitting us. This is insane. Okay, next he's doing a triangle, which is rush, attack +2, then trigger. Ugh. I don't even know if I did that right. I wonder if I should have another 2 damage. Because he rushed. So his first card was the triangle. Oh, no, he did the cleanse. Okay, we got that right. Okay, great. I don't know what I do here, because every time I hit him I'm going to take 2 damage. Plus, he's going to keep triggering. It's mental. Okay, I guess we're going to do this. Sprouting Darkness. We'll take 3 of these. 1, 2, and 3. Deal 3 damage in range 3. If you have less than 10 cards in your discard pile, you can trigger. So we do 3 damage to him. 1, 2, 3. So he's up to 15. But then he does 2 damage to us. So we're up to 21. Okay, great. Then we get to trigger. So I'm going to do smash, choose any space with terrain, and deal 6 damage to each opponent within range 1 of this space. Reduce this by their shield. There is no terrain, gain 1. So we're going to do this. So we do another 6 damage to him. 5, 6. You know what? I don't think we're trying to tame you anymore, mate. So he's now up to 21. Okay. So that's that. And then we're going to spend 5 of these. We haven't learned our lesson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To do our elemental accelerate. We're going to look at the top card, which is Wind Tunnel. Blink X, where X is your movement. And then trigger. Well, X is our movement, so we're going to move 1 space. Okay, guess I just put this back on top. This sucks. Okay, then I'm going to spend 1 to throw. Is attacked or dealt damage when... Oh yeah, he's going to hit me for that as well. There's no point. There's no point us throwing that tree because we're going to do 1 damage to him. Oh, I do slow and weak. We're going to throw the tree. Hold on. The tree is... Consider the tree thrown. So we have done slow and weak to him. That's huge. And then we get rid of this. So we're no longer slow. Okay, that's my go. These move up. This goes here. This goes here. Lightning strike is huge. Okay. But what's he doing? He's doing a triangle, which is rush and then attack for 5 and trigger. So he's attacking for 5. However, his attack is 1. So we take 1 damage because of weak. Weak is amazing. Okay. Weak, I think, applies to the end of the turn, which is great. He's then going to trigger, which is do another card. So it's a circle, and a circle is rush, attack +2, and then retreat 1. So he is going to attack me and hit me for 1 again, and then he's going to move back 1, and because he's got slow, and that goes away. But then these stay here, and we shuffle these, and we take a new fatigue card, and it goes on top of our deck, and we deal with that when it comes up. Great. Let's just make sure I got this deck the right size, because it seems quite small. 2 triangles, 1 circle, 2 squares. I did. Youch. Okay, that's him done. How much more health has he got? 21, so he's got 15. We can do 9 damage to him. But he's going to do 4 damage back to us. I can also do 8 damage to him. What's he doing? Oh, hold on, we should know what he's doing next. He's doing a square next, which is cleanse, deal slow, and then do 2 damage. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, we can do double strike. We're going to attack, gain 2 of these. Attack, so we're going to do 4 damage to him. So he's up to 25. We take 2, so we're up to 25. Then we are going to spend 3 to attack again, to do another 4 damage to him. So he's up to 29. We take another 2 damage, so we're up to 27. I'm in serious trouble. He's going to hit me next time. He's going to hit me for 2, and then he's going to hit me for another 12. What does that put me on? 12 is 32. 12 is 32, plus another 2. Oh, every time I hit him, I should have been taking damage. Hold on. Hold on a second. Let's backtrack a bit. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I did 2 there. So I did that. I had 1 at the start of this turn. I don't know if I can backtrack other than going and look at the video. Because every time I hit him, I should have been taking 2 damage, which means he's going to kill me. Whereas if I don't do that, I can get Breathe, which will deal silence to him, which means at least he won't be doing his thing on that turn, which is vital to us. Okay, let me just backtrack it. Let me see where we were. Okay, so I've reset it to the start of this turn. On his turn, he's going to do cleanse, deal slow, deal 2 damage, and then he's going to do his special, which is rush and then attack 3 and attack 3. So I really need to be out of the way of that somehow, which I don't think I can. But if I get this, I can at least silence it for a bit. Got a card which allows me to blink where X is my movement, which would be 1 space. Good. Don't know how I get out of the way of them, so I think I just have to play for the delaying. Okay, let's use this. So we get 3 of these. If it was in slot 3, I'd get 3 more, but it's not, unfortunately. Before I do that, am I going to move? I'm going to move 1 before I do that. Then, now my movement will have +2 for the next go. If I hit it, I'd get extra. But I don't think I want to. I'm going to spend 3 to deal silence in range 3. So this is silence, and silence just means that he won't do his special next turn. So he's going to do cleanse, deal slow, so I'm still not going to be able to get away from him, unfortunately. So he's dealt slow to me, and then he's going to hit me for 2, so I'm up to 25. Okay. Oh, these should have slid up. This should have gone here. This should have turned over. That's fatigue. Great. This moves up, this moves up, this moves up. But he's done his thing, and then he's not going to trigger the special because we've silenced him. So silence goes away, and it's back to us. We've got bloody slow on us, so we can't actually move from him. However, I need to be 3 spaces away from him, right? So if I was to use, I don't think I can do this. If I was to use blink, wind tunnel, blink where X is your movement. My movement is currently 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I can spend 1 movement to move here, but then he's going to go 1, 2, 3 and still be here hitting me. So I'm better off doing silence again. Hold on, was that a square? Yeah, that was a square as well. Okay, so I'm going to gain these 2. I'm going to blink X, where X is my movement. My movement is currently 3, so I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. Take my silence with me. Can't throw the tree in range of 2. I'm going to spend all 3 of these to give him silence again. Sorry, mate. I think I'm just delaying the inevitable, but what can you do? Okay. So it's now his go. He is going to move this up, move this up, move this up, and do this one. Square is cleanse all, deal 2 damage, deal slow, and 2 damage in range 2. So we're still slowed, and we take another 2 damage. We're up to 27, and that's his turn. Okay, so we're still slowed. So he's still going to be able to get in range of me, and I don't have any moves. And I don't have any way of giving him slow. So he's gonna rush up to us and hit us. So he's doing a triangle. He's going to rush up and attack. Then he's going to trigger, which means we'll shuffle all the cards and get another discard. Get another fatigue. Then, so he's going to hit us for 5 because I can't get away from him. And then he's going to still be on the trigger for his, I assume. Oh, I don't know what happens here. Let's just see what the AI says. What happens when an enemy has a trigger card but is silenced, so can't use their special, and no more cards are in the draw pile? Because normally what would happen is we would shuffle these back in, but I'm not sure what happens in that instance. Either way, I think I'm on a losing battle here. Because he's going to run up to me and hit me for free and then trigger again anyway. Let's just read this. So silence, the effect silence condition prevents the enemy... Oh, hold on, there's more. When an enemy has a trigger card but is under the silence condition, it cannot resolve its special ability. Therefore, there are no more draw cards in the file. The following occurs. Silence effect. The silence condition prevents the enemy from resolving its special ability, from discarding cards from its slots. Empty draw pile. If the enemy is empty draw pile, you gain 1 fatigue, which is placed on top of your discard pile. If there is no more fatigue, you gain 5 damage. Reshuffling. The enemy's attack cards is reshuffled to create a new draw pile. The cards in the slots are not discarded in the reshuffle. Seeking to ensure that the game continues smoothly even when the enemy is silent. So he doesn't do his special. I mean, that's interesting. Okay, whose turn is it? Mine. Okay. So I can't get away from him. I cannot get away from him. But I can do lightning strike, so I'm going to do that. I get 2 of these. 1, 2. And I do choose a space. I'll choose this one. I do 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he doesn't retaliate because he's outside of I'm outside of the 2 spaces. Then I get to do another 3 damage. So that puts him up to 30 damage. I think that technicality has probably saved our ass. Okay, I think, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I could spend 1 to move. Don't think it matters. So if I was here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, he's still going to be able to stand there and punch me. So I think that's fine. We move this up. We put this over here. Okay. Okay. It's his go. So first thing that happens is he does a triangle. Triangle is rush. 1, 2. And he attacks for 5. So we take 5 damage. So we're up to 32. Okay. Then he triggers. Oh, hold on, we might still be dead. Silence. The effect silence condition prevents the enemy from resolving a special ability from discarding cards from its slots. If the empty draw pile, the enemy's draw pile is empty, you gain 1 fatigue card from its placed on its top condition. There are no more fatigue cards available. Reshuffling. The enemy's attack discard is reshuffled to create a new draw pile. The card slots are not discarded during this reshuffle. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help at all. The enemy has all of its cards in its display track. It's got 5 cards in total in its combat deck. The special ability is on step 3. However, the enemy has been silenced to allow 2 more cards to go in slot 4 and 5. There are no more cards in the enemy's draw pile, and he's meant to be triggering. He's also silenced, so he can't use his special ability. What happens then? I don't think this is going to be able to answer our question. I mean, my assumption is we shuffle the cards, put them back in, and he starts building towards his special again, but that doesn't feel quite right. I mean, I could shuffle the 2 extras and put them back in and trigger. He only needs to do 8 damage to me. I need to do 4 damage to him. So I think we're okay, but depends what that next card is. Let's just see. When the enemy is silenced and there's no more cards in the draw pile, the silence condition prevents the enemy from resolving a special ability card. Empty draw pile. If the enemy has an empty draw pile, draw 1 fatigue, which is placed on top of your discard pile. If you have no more fatigue, take 5 damage. Reshuffling. The enemy's attack discard pile is reshuffled to create a new draw pile. The cards in the slot are not discarded during this reshuffle. I mean, they're all in the slots. This sequence continues until, I guess it's these 2. That makes me assume it's these 2. Because the discard pile is after that, right? So he's doing a circle. A circle is rush and attack +2, so he doesn't need to rush. So he's going to attack for 5. What does that put me on? 37. And then he's going to retreat 1. and then this goes away. Well, crap, but at least I'm not slowed anymore. So he's going to do his special after this. If I'm standing where I'm standing, I'm going to take damage. I need to do 4 damage to him. Okay, we can do this. Because he's going to do 2 damage back, right? So I'm going to spend 1 to move. Lurking Shadow, we're going to gain 2. Lurking Shadow, attack with Drain. This attack has Pierce, so we're going to attack for 4. So 1, 2. I just to guess if I take this off and put this one down here. So Drain, we attack for 4 if this card has at least 6. Sorry, this attack has Pierce if you have at least 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't matter, he hasn't got any shield. We do 4 damage to him. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's up to 34 damage. And then he does 2 damage back to us, so we're back up to 35 damage. But he has taken all of the hits, which means we win just. I tell you what, that was rough. Bear in mind I was thinking about adding extra cards to it. That was really rough. I think we did it okay. Don't know if he was meant to heal at any point, because he hasn't played his special. It got very confusing with us being able to silence him and him having all of those cards. But I think that's everything. Tame, go to script 04. Win, go to script 06. Okay. I mean, I could have did slow and weak on him at some point as well. I did have that as a sturdy rope, but I want to keep that just in case. But that could have come in really handy. Dragon. Here we go. So we go to 06.
The Skitterpaw clings to the rocky ground and eyes you mistrustfully, baring its fangs. Abruptly, it springs up and sputters with anger, seemingly unwilling to yield, but still reluctant to engage. A few angry hisses later, it turns around and runs away, limping, admitting its defeat.
Okay, each Mistling that takes part in the combat heals up to half, so we're going to have 20 damage before we start the next one. There's 30 there. Okay, that add the Skitterpaw tier card to the random combat. So each enemy we could face is in here. Is it in here? Skitterpaw. Have I got Skitterpaws in here somewhere? If not, they're somewhere. Hold on. Skitterpaw, Skitterpaw, Skitterpaw. Don't think it is in here. Gonna have to try and find it. It's not in there. It's around here somewhere. I must have put it at the end of this deck, I reckon. Oh, here we go. Skitterpaw. There's a renewed Skitterpaw to come. Oh, God. Okay. Don't want to have to deal with that. So that goes into the random combats. We might come across that later. What happens next? Place the Skitterpaw card 237 into the encyclopedia. Bear with me. Oh. So here is our encyclopedia. We take this card. 273. 273, that goes in there, so we don't learn about them because we didn't do it. Add an Erin, whatever that thing's name was at the beginning, their card, 253A. 253A. Look at this thing. What is that? 253A goes in here, and their random combat card goes in as well. 253A. That goes in there. Okay, these can go back in this. Okay, clear the arena and go to script 07. So we'll clear the arena after this. We will go to script 07 now.
Finally, you have a moment to sit down, catch your breath and collect your thoughts. You have got used to the fact that mistlings engage one another on a regular basis, but that Skitterpaw seemed more violent than it should be. Besides, it definitely looked like a herbivore. What is wrong with this place that makes mistlings so aggressive? As you look around, you spot another mystery. There is a source of light on a towering, faraway hill, a rather weird thing in this gloomy reality, and some more eerins in the air. After a while, you have no doubt that the creatures are floating toward the light in the distance. Even more so, you notice a faint ray of light connecting the tower to the portal. Its evil, predatory nature could be somehow connected with that mistling catching light. You will never solve the mystery if you do not explore that place. You let the mistlings rest a bit, and you head there. Easier said than done, though. The plain before you is crisscrossed with cracks and chasms, some of which are filled with bubbling lava, bright enough to warn you about the danger and cast faint light upon the surroundings. The air is menacingly acrid and hot. You stick to an old path winding between the major chasms as if it were your lifeline. To your relief, the lighthouse shining on the horizon seems nearer and nearer, and soon you notice a half-ruined, seemingly abandoned town right ahead of you, sprawling on the slope of a hill. The path to the lighthouse goes directly through the town.
Go to script 055.
The architecture and the style of the buildings remind you of the Fey ruins you have already seen, but they are also crumbled. You notice numerous cracks in the walls, just like the ones you saw weeks ago in Caerberg. A few houses have tumbled down, and others have disappeared inside wide crevices. The local earthquakes have no mercy. You speed up the pace when a tall, seemingly unscalable wall bars your way. The path takes you to the gate, with a weird-looking lock. It requires a special type of key with two triangular shapes. You have never seen anything like that. Over the lock on the wall, you can see traditional Fey drawings. They depict a few figures walking away from the gate, one of the Fey carrying a bar with two triangles. The next drawing shows the figures descending the stairs. It is likely that the item you are looking for is hidden in some basement or another underground vault. You take a step back and look at the wall with frustration. It crosses your mind to turn back, leave the town, and try to find a way past the wall, but you remember the labyrinth of lava-filled cracks and think better of it. Besides, it may take much more time and be twice as dangerous. No, you will have to find the key.
Go to script 052.
Abruptly, there is an ear-piercing shriek on the other side of the wall, and a head appears above it. It looks like a wooden mask with a flesh-ripping, owl-like beak. It is definitely a mistling which shrieks again in warning and pushes against the wall, no doubt trying to reach you and sink its beak into your body. It attacks again and again, but the wall holds, and the creature fortunately tires and disappears. Bad news, then. You're about to explore the territory of an angry, jealous mistling which already knows about your presence. Luckily, since it's on the other side, there must be another way there. Now, hurry up. You'd better find it before the mistling comes back.
Okay, open map 01, play secret 100 face down event, set the time to 3. You have some time before the monster finds its way around the wall. We'll do that next time. This is interesting. Very interesting considering the difficulty level of this versus the previous one. I'm not now convinced we've brought the correct mistlings with us, but we will find out, I guess. There you go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter and Insta and TikTok. We have all sorts of stuff, loads of other game content coming. Check out the Patreon if you want to support the channel. Always really helps. We'll play through this. We might do a bit of roguelike at the end when we finish this. I think this is going to be a fairly short one. But yeah, really enjoying Dragon Eclipse still. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.